Alright, so in this video I'm going to show you how good DIO is, the new character, in basically all the different game modes and compare it to basically other characters as well, so I hope you enjoy this. Anyway, the first ability is really strong and very quick. You can also move it around and aim it wherever you kind of want to. The second ability is also really quick and has pretty good damage and good AoE. You can't really aim it after you aim it once though. The third ability is kind of weak, but it does reset your first ability and second ability, so you can use them 4 times and gives you extra speed. So it's actually really good. And the fourth ability is just really strong, gives you a lot of energy. It does take a while, but it's actually pretty worth it to use. Since it's also really good. In Dimensions, with effects on my first attempt, it actually was pretty good. He was not bad by any means, even though I didn't know this was a bad run, and was with effects with my first run, it was pretty decent as well. You'll see that even when I had my first attempt and everything, basically my first time using DIO, this is a respectable time. This is basically a top 10 character for Dimensions. After that, I did try a couple times more, and this is my best time that I got with the same equipment that I had with all the other characters, with no effects and just with a few practice runs. And I felt like this was pretty good at the start. It might have fell off a bit later and a bit on this area right here, but in general I think it was a pretty good run. I think it's respectable. I do think that it can get a slightly better time than what I got, but it would not make him better in the rankings, so it doesn't really matter too much. He's really good for the AoE. He has sufficient AoE on all his moves. His damage is also enough to actually one-shot basically any enemy. Sometimes it's actually a struggle to kill the power enemies, but that will not be a problem if you actually have a good trait and assist with partner and everything, with good stuff for Dimensions. This is just to have the same stuff, but so it could actually go faster. But just like every other character with no dash, that's really good in Dimensions, even without the dash. The better and the better they get, actually the more they drop off, because they can't keep up with the movement. He does have a speed with the third ability kind of, but he does not have a dash, so actually the better and better stuff he gets doesn't mean that he gets just exponentially better just like the other ones with dashes, because his movement is just too slow. In general, he's a really good character in Dimensions. He has enough damage to kill everything, he has good AoE, he can kill the bosses fast, good energy gain, and yeah, the one thing that's keeping him down is the movement, because he has no dash. But that's actually pretty good in raids, so you can't really blame him too much. DIO is actually really good in Dimensions, very good, like top 5 with without the best stuff. Anyway, in boss rush, he's not too bad. Definitely not the best way to play with him. This was my first attempt and only attempt, and I don't feel like I need to show anything else. It's still really good, even though it was my first attempt and only attempt. You just use third ability to kill basically everything. It's really strong, especially if all your moves hit crits, and DIO's just really strong with his third ability, more specifically. And speed rate, the same thing. You just ignore the fourth ability and just go straight to the third ability, because the third ability is just instant straight damage. Though it does take quite a bit of time to actually get all those moves in, so it's not as fast as like Shadow Monarch. In raids, I tried 3 times to get 500 million damage as fast as possible in Rengoku raid with no assists, with the same stuff I usually have. And first I tried without using the ultimate too often, and it was not too good. Then I tried using the ultimate, the fourth ability, and to see which one was better. And it turns out when you have your ultimate or fourth ability, you should try to use it as fast as possible. It gives you great amount of damage and gives you a lot of energy, so you should try to get it. And here I did with the second ability, and I got 535. Then I also tried with the fourth ability because it was worth it, and instead of spamming the second ability, I actually spammed the first ability all the time. So here I just did the same thing basically, but with the first ability instead of second ability, just to see, and it feels like yes, the second ability was a bit better. So the first ability here I only got 534. In general, they're both really good moves, so if you spam first or second ability, it doesn't really matter. It's just gonna be preference, because they both are really good moves, give a similar amount of energy, similar amount of damage, and you can use 4 abilities no matter what, either way. Also, if you did not know, this is the spreadsheet I've basically made to show all the characters, well, basically all the characters. Dio with all the same stuff, not the best stuff, so it might be inaccurate for like Celestial and everything the best stuff. He's top 10 in raids, which is really good. Really good for raid character. A raid character haven't been that good in a while. Yeah. In Dimensions, he's also really good. He's top 5. I do think he's gonna be dropped down to top 10, maybe even top 15 about, with the best stuff, because just like other characters that are good without dashes, they won't be as good when you actually have the best stuff, because for example, Sung Jin Woo has 137 without the best stuff. You can probably get like 105 with the best stuff, because he has a dash, he can keep up the movements. But Dio, no matter how good stuff you have, he can never go past like 130, because the movement is just gonna be restricting him. He can't actually go past a certain amount of speed. And then you also got the assist. His assist is really good. The second best when it comes to DPS, not talking about effects or anything like awakenings and stuff like that. So he's really good to have an assist as well. So yeah, he's actually a really good character. So would I buy Dio? Just like I usually say, it's probably better to try to drop the characters. You just save 3,600 tokens by dropping them instead of buying them. But in general, Dio is gonna be the best character to buy out of these 3. Ichigo is actually really good. And Goku, I mean. Ichigo is actually really good, and Goku is also really good. But Dio, just as an overall character, especially for beginners, because you don't really need good stats for this, is always good. Dio is always going to be very good as a character, as an assist, as a main, basically everything. Estheth is not that good. I haven't tested her with the Awakening, but I don't think the Awakening is going to be making her a lot better than she already is. And the permanent ones, only if awakened, are probably better. Otherwise, Dio is actually a really good candidate to buy, but in general, just try to drop them. But if you were to get one, I would probably get Dio, so yes. So to end the video off, I hope you enjoyed it, and thank you to my members as well. Darylord, Snowy, 3Zs, and Andre. I appreciate all of you guys, so yeah. I might update the tier list as well, but before that I'm probably gonna make a video about Estheth as well, because she got an awakening. But other than that, I hope you enjoyed this video, and see you in the next one.